Hi, I'm Walter Johnson. Today we're going to be talking about the Katarina Turn. This one is being performed by May at PJ Palm Sports Center in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on the 14th of February 2020. First we'll watch her do it and then we'll talk about it. May is gliding over the tee. Now it's a good thing to be done with your strokes prior to starting this turn, particularly while learning it, just easier. I want you to pay particular attention to the line between her knees and the tip of her fin during this turn. What you'll see is that line stays pretty consistent throughout the turn and all the way until she starts making her downstroke. May is turning right, so with her left hand she'll push off the wall later. With her right hand she just made a stroke. Now that stroke serves two purposes. First, it accelerates you toward the wall, and second, it rotates you longitudinally, kind of like twirling a pencil. That longitudinal rotation is vital to the performance of this turn. After she's done making that stroke with the right hand, she's just going to leave it pointed in the direction she's turning toward to be used later. May arrives at the wall in a perfect position. You can see that her body is in a nice, relaxed, long, extended arch. Body angle slightly down, body and fin rotated together nicely, a good line between her knees and the tip of her fin, right arm extended in the direction of the turn. In this turn, you really don't have to manipulate the fin particularly. If you do the right things from your head to your knees, the fin will follow and be perfectly placed whenever it needs to be. And you'll see that as she continues with this turn. She's not really manipulating the fin at all. She's just dragging the fin through the turn with her knees, and her knees are relaxed with her toes extended throughout this turn. She pushes off the wall, but that's not quite enough for what she needs. She needs to get back in line with the pool to make the stroke, or at least be headed in that direction. And to do that, she's going to need a stroke from her right arm. The right arm's been left back there this whole time since she made the initial stroke to rotate herself, so it's right there ready to do what it needs to do. Upcoming will be the stroke with the right arm. Now the push off from the wall and the stroke from the right arm combine to pull you up into a slightly angled up position. There are two reasons why you want that position. The first is that when your body's angled up, the knees will be down. And the advantage to the knees being down is that when the knees are down, the fin will be down and submerged. And the advantage to the fin being submerged is that when you make the stroke, you'll be pushing water and not air, and that's always good. The second advantage to being in an angled up position is that when you're in a level position and make a stroke, the stroke will push you toward the bottom of the pool. When you do a stroke from the angled up position, that will push you out from the wall straight and level. She's completed the stroke with the right arm. Her body is in an almost perfect position. She's about lined up with the pool now. She will be in a second. Look at her body, slightly angled up, knees down, and they'll keep going down, I think, a little bit more. Like I said, this helps keep the fin submerged. You can see the fin is already starting to flex. The stroke is already really beginning. Even at this early stage, you can see how loaded up she is for a great stroke. She's in a perfect position right now. If you get nothing else from this video, get the positions you need to be in at different times in the turn. And if you can figure out how to do that, you'll be able to do this turn. She's continuing her stroke. Her knees have dropped about as far as she can drop them. The fin is perfect. She's perfectly lined up with the pool. Slightly angled up body position still because she's still got more stroke to go. So that'll compensate for the movement that the stroke causes in the down direction. I stopped her here because this is as close as her fin got to the wall, and it isn't close at all. One of the huge advantages to this particular turn and the way you execute it is that it keeps the fin off the wall. And the way that happens, mainly, is that you can see she has not recovered her arms yet, and she won't until later. The advantage of not recovering your arms is that obviously recovering your arms creates drag and stops you, and keeps your fin closer to the wall than you want it. So by doing it this way, you get the fin off the wall, you get a great stroke, as you can see she got, and a huge glide, as you will see she'll get, and she'll recover her arms on the first set of strokes after she finishes with her glide. She's done now, gliding nice and straight and level, not headed toward the surface, not headed toward the bottom. Perfect. You can see on this turn she'll glide forever. When learning or teaching this turn, there are several positions you can look at to determine if you have the right idea. This is the first one. She just completed a stroke with her right arm. She's rotated along her longitudinal axis. The fin hasn't quite started to rotate much yet, but it will follow her as she goes through the turn. You saw that in the video. This is the most important motion you'll ever learn when doing this turn, or really any turn, this rotation motion. Now, rotation is not the same thing as turning. Turning is turning and going in the opposite direction. This is rotating along your longitudinal axis, kind of like twirling a pencil, as I said before. If you have to practice this out in the middle of the pool, do it. It's that important. It's the number one most important thing you'll ever learn from doing this turn. This is one of the prettiest positions in freediving. I've got a picture of myself doing this in competition once. It's by far the best picture ever taken of me in competition. Now this is the position to look at when you're evaluating turns. This is the number one position right here. Because to get here, to get to this position, she had to do all the right things previous. She's done her stroke with her right arm. She, along with her fin, are rotated. She's arched, she's relaxed, head below her feet. There's a nice line between her knees and the tip of her fin. Toes extended. Toes will stay extended throughout this turn. That'll never change. Anyway, look at this position. If you can get to this position, the rest is easy. Not sure I've ever seen a position begging more for a downstroke than this one. You can see it. Totally ready. Now let's examine the position a little bit. The fin. The fin has followed her knees throughout this turn. This is the first time there's not really been a straight line between her knees and the tip of her fin, and that's only because her fin is flexing from the downstroke she's doing. Anyway, the fin is basically over the top of her head, and that's kind of where you want it. It's in the best position she could possibly want for making the downstroke. The body is angled slightly up, as we talked about before. Knees are down, but she's not folded up in the middle. Let's talk a little bit about her knees. A lot of people, when they do turns, will fold up in the middle. When you're doing a turn, particularly a turn like this, where continued ongoing motion is so important, if you fold up in the middle, you'll basically stop at the turn. Huge drag, huge drag. So you don't want to fold up until the very last instant you need to. And she will fold up a little bit as she's doing the downstroke later. This position is the icing on the cake. Everything is done now. All you got to do is relax and enjoy the glide. You can see, as we talked about before, she has not recovered her arms yet. This is a huge drag reduction issue during this turn. Helps you retain motion, keeps you off the wall. Lots of good things happen by not recovering your arms until later. And it's easy to recover your arms during the first strokes after the glide. There you have it. Hope this video has been helpful for you and you've learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Happy to help. Take care, stay safe, and be well.